What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Campus Cuts. I'm your host, Tanaka Tava, and today I have a special, wonderful guest. He is a man of God, first and foremost. He is an engineer. He's an entrepreneur. He's a podcaster. He's a connoisseur and somebody that is really, really deep into personal development. The man of the hour, and I'm so grateful to be able to share this space with the dude, Mr. Darren Samuels. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for your time and your patience, bro. And I'm so grateful that you're on the podcast.
This is awesome. I really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate that intro. It was amazing.
Man, no, but of course, I always gotta. Who was it? It was actually Kazunari Sutton. Shout out.
Yep, Kaz, my guy Kaz, man.
He one day when I was at school, you mentioned, you came up and he was like, yeah, man, you were having a conversation about a book that you sent him. I think it was by Tony Evans. And he said, man, I really like Darren. And so after I followed your IG page, and I'm like, man, his style is nice. And he likes cars, like, hey, cool. Yeah. And then, but then, from afar, I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm a fan of this guy. This guy, I'm like, okay, yeah, this guy, he's a cool guy. Man.
That's dope. That's so dope.
So it's and then after that one time that you gave me the phone call, say, yeah, man, I want to call you. It just showed a lot about your character, and you are years ahead of me. You came and you called me and just to chop it up and just to encourage me, man, and that in itself went very far. And I'm so grateful to be able to share the space with somebody that is, from your page and what you post and what you do. Man, it's an honor. Seriously.
Honestly, I really appreciate that. And it was definitely an energy thing with me, and I could tell your energy was just on a different level and something that I wanted to be a part of. And that's definitely what sparked that call, because when I feel someone else that's like-minded, or I see your content, I can tell it's genuine and definitely in the direction that me and my friends are going. I gotta talk to that person. I gotta learn from that person. So I appreciate all that you've done thus far and taking the leap. I remember when you started, you know what I'm saying? And just taking the leap is pretty much the hardest step, and you just kept going. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate it. Honestly, I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the talk today.
Yes, sir. So for anybody that doesn't know, if you're new here at Campus Cuts is an intergenerational, multicultural show that brings students, entrepreneurs, political figures, athletes, and all people from all walks of life to chop it up in the virtual barbershop. Got this concept from the shop by LeBron James, and this actually started when I was in university at Baylor University, our alma mater. It's so crazy to say, like, I'm an alumni because I just graduated in August. And it's weird. Like, honestly, I'm like, yeah, I started this in college, and I can't believe it's been like more than a year. Like in January, it'll be 2 years doing podcasting. And I'm like, wow. But anyway, that's a little synopsis of what it is. So, of course, I gave you a little introduction. So what I want to do is I want to ask the question, though, like, who is Darren? So what is your name, your occupation, and where you're located at currently?
Awesome. So my name is Darren Samuels. I'm currently living in Austin, Texas, but I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. My family moved to Atlanta shortly after coming to the U.S. from Guyana. So I was actually first generation born here, which means a lot to me. And since then, I just followed my heart, followed my passions, and ended up in engineering. And then I ended up in Texas at Baylor University after them sending me an email, my mom following up on it. And after coming to visit and really enjoying like the smaller atmosphere, the kind of bubble vibe that I got, because I was from Atlanta, such a big, busy city, I felt that it was time to make a leap and make a drastic change in my life. And it actually turned out being very advantageous for me and helped me grow very, very quickly, because when I moved to Texas, I didn't know anyone. So I really got to find myself. I really got to meet some really good good brothers through my fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma, and we just continued on beyond college and just got to continue to grow and build relationships just throughout the state of Texas now, because we're all spread out. And that's really, really been a big thing in my life, and something that I can attribute a lot of my success to was just my network, the people around me that encouraged me and pushed me to be a better person. So I started full-time at Samsung January 2018 as an equipment engineer. I did 2 internships prior to that while I was still in college, and I really enjoyed the company. I liked the company, and saw a lot of potential for career growth. So I came back full time, and I've been there for almost 4 years now in January. So it's been a blessing. I can't speak highly enough of the opportunities that working for a company like Samsung has provided me, and the amount of growth that I've been able to achieve in this kind of short period of time is a blessing. And right. I love sharing that and sharing the things that I've learned on social media and in my network meetings. And I was blessed to mentor and be mentored. And that's another thing I kind of want to talk about today, the importance of mentorship. It's yes. Like, it sounds so cliche sometimes, but it is monumental in terms of scaling your growth pattern, you know? So that's a little bit about who I am.
Yeah, bro, that's so good, bro. Like that is that, and I'm super glad that we definitely resonated. That's also what kept me, coming to your page and your content, listening to your. I am an avid listener of your stuff that you put out, and I am a fan. Just letting you straight awesome. Up. I know, like, because it's like I listened to this podcast a couple days ago with Brene Brown and Angela Duckworth, Grit, and I know you know Angela Duckworth, the TED Talk. Have you seen the Grit TED?
The Grit one?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure if I saw her face, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, I see, you watch a bunch of stuff, but like her TED Talk on grit and what it means to have grit. And then so Brene Brown is a popular speaker and author and psychologist, and Angela Duckworth is all that stuff too, right? So they always kept like in the interview, they talk about the same topics, they're in the same circles, they know the same people, but they haven't met, or like they weren't able to have a chance to meet. And so for me, we're talking to you right now is like that's that for me. Like whether people were associated or all that stuff, and like, oh shoot, you fan of stuff, I've seen your stuff, you're cool, posted your stuff. Oh, okay, we finally met in person at at homecoming. And then after that, out of all places, but then still it's like, wow, awesome, this is exciting. I'm so excited just to dive deep into that. And now my first question for you, bro, is, you talking about mentorship or everything like that. And I think that's really the theme I really want to explore with you is this mentorship / growth path for you as you continue to your career. Because now most of my audience is Gen Z, people who are coming out of college or still in college. Right. So my first question for you, bro, is, when it came, who mentored you coming to Baylor? I don't want to do to make this Baylor, but whatever. But you made a huge step to come to a different state that you haven't been before. Who was somebody in your life that sparked you in order to have that risk tolerance to always take those small steps, or those small steps, but actually big leaps into your transformation?
Man, again, some answers are cliche, but my mom. My mom has that spirit. And as I mentioned earlier, I would not have found Baylor if it wasn't for my mom being so involved with the emails and actually sending my application through, because I'm busy with end of year stuff in high school and things like that. She put me out there and put the battery in my back to take that leap. She's always been like that. She's always been someone who encourages being risk-taking or being a risk-taker young. You want to spend this time now making those big jumps and making those leaps, because you're going to learn so much through that process early. And learning that early helps with your compound interest, right? Compound interest is like the 8-1 of the world is what I call it. And the earlier you can learn things and fail, the faster you can reach true success. And my mom was that first spark in terms of getting to Baylor. And then also when I got to Baylor, my dad and I flew out here, and we did the campus tour. And there was this guy named, I think, Eklund. His last name was Eklund. He was one of the advisors of the engineering department. And then just his spirit and the way he made me feel comfortable, and the way I felt him being genuine encouraged me to choose Baylor. So I mentioned that to say that everybody doesn't have to be nice, and everybody isn't nice, but the people who go out of their way to put a smile on their face and go the extra steps to make you feel comfortable, even though they don't know you or just met you, makes a really big difference in people's lives. So I carry that forward with anybody I meet, and I try to meet everyone with the same energy, and try to encourage them and make them feel as if they're seen and worth it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody doesn't greet people like that. Everybody doesn't carry the same energy into people they don't know. And I pride myself on doing that.
Right.
Because I feel like it makes such a big difference in that person's life. If it's something so small, their day could have been horrible, and you putting that spark or that smile into their life that day can actually change their trajectory. And a lot of that is what brought me into Baylor.
Yeah, that's good, bro. Like it is cliche. It is cliche to say all I want to do is just put a smile on somebody's face. Like me hearing you say that, it's stuff I say, and like, you know, stuff like we practice. It sounds like, well, I will assume that you've read Darren Hardy's The Compound Effect.
Yes.
Yeah, bro. Like my mom gave me that book when I was 14. Slapped it, like, you know, like, hey, read this book. Read this book.
14,
read this book.
that's
at
crazy.
14, like, bro. Dude, she's been hitting me with all these positivity books, Think and Grow Rich, this, that, and the third, all of that, like Farrah Grace, whatever. Yeah, bro. Like all of those books.
Another one is Richest Man in Babylon. One of my mentors gave me that as soon as I graduated, and we'll go back into that. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I've been hit with this, and you know, it's funny, like it's that rewiring, that positive reinforcement of us, like, you know, doing that. And I was just going to mention that, you know, you saying like that and hearing that, bro, like was that always natural? Was that always natural for you to be nice? Because I mean, of course, Atlanta is, I mean, you grew up in Atlanta, but like Atlanta's not the nicest city. I mean, like you know, because it's different. Texas is very Southern culture, whatever. Like, so how?
I thought people here were weird, bro. When I first got here, I'm like, yo, these people are weird. These are weird dudes out here, man. Because Atlanta is so different, like you said. But go ahead.
Yeah, like so like how did it come to be for you to be a spokesperson, or just like a compatible, something like, you know, for you just to say, you know what, I want to continuously put positive energy. Like how did that shift come for you? Like, I want to be the person to be kind. Because I'm growing out, like me entering now into this, you know, the real world. Of course, I come from a bubble of kindness and joy and diversity and everything like that, whether it's from high school, middle school, high school, to even college. But now, like, the world, it can be very dark and people are very mean. So like what was the things that you did in order to continue to practice that muscle where you can do that?
So I'll say there's a switch between unintentionality and intentionality, right? And as part of my personal development, I switched from unintentionally doing things to intentionally doing things, right? And I think that is what personal development kind of is. So I'll go back to the unintentionality, is that I grew up in a great house. I grew up with a great family. I grew up with a lot of love in my life. So I naturally treated people a certain way. So I would say that that's where it started, right? But then getting into personal development, understanding who I was and how I felt when people didn't treat me nicely, or how I grew up. I always liked different things. I loved the motorsports. I loved biking. I didn't like basketball. I didn't like football. And I actually tended to like things that kind of the white people like, the white kids, but I grew up around black kids.
Right.
So it was like, I didn't always feel a part of the crowd. I didn't always feel like I fit in. And I didn't like some of the feelings that I got when I didn't feel included or people weren't nice to me. So unintentionally, I did the opposite. Unintentionally, I did the opposite. But then I became intentional once I looked back and learned that that's how I felt and why I felt like that. Going forward, I'm going to treat everyone differently. I'm going to treat everyone as if they are the Michael Jordan of what they like and what they love. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the intentionality flipped as I became more aware of who I was as a person. And now I approach everyone, because you never know who you're talking to, right? That's another thing. We tend to think that you just never know. The world is really small. We think the world is really big. The world is actually really small. There's 6 degrees of separation between everyone in the world, right? So you'll meet one person one day, and you never know how that person might circle back into your life. So imagine if you treated them like crap, you know? And I can honestly say, treating people the right way, no matter if it's the first time I meet them or any prejudgment I might have, has benefited me in the long term with the relationships that I've been able to build. And your name goes around, right? So if you treat people like crap, someone else is going to tell somebody else about you before it even gets to you. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to be that person.
Right. And but you know, like that's so good that you say that. Like for the people, even if it sucks. Like literally right now, I'm just, oh man, I'm gonna lie. I'm gonna put my sister on blast because I love it. Like, you know, I'm like, hey, she didn't treat me well, but also I didn't treat her like, you know, like I was late, you know, all this stuff. She kind of sprung something on me, right? And it's like, yo, my schedule, like we have a schedule, we have a plan. I made sure that everything was fair, but you still had, I still had to like, I'm still gonna show up and I'm still gonna serve. Because like service, you know, I'm reading this devotional, like service, people want to like, it's easy to be a servant when things are comfortable, when things are nice, when you like have everything ducks in a row. But the real test to like servanthood and your real personal development, it comes in situations where it's not comfortable, when it's not, you know, like convenient, when things do go on the other side or the other, like, you know, other way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mike Tyson actually has a quote. He says, "Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face." Right. And again, that's such a simple statement, but it has so many layers, and it relates back to exactly what you just said. It's not until you get challenged until you grow. You know what I'm saying? It's easy when life is easy, when things are easy. There isn't as much potential for growth, but it's not until you get challenged you really figure out what you're made of and who you are. And then you can reflect and reflect on how you handle that situation and grow from there, because challenges is what makes us better. You know what I'm saying? Complacency kills.
Right.
So like you said, you won't know how you're going to react until you're faced with that situation. And it's that ability to be faced with the situation the first time, react a certain way. Be faced with the situation the second time, react a different way. A different way, after reflecting on each time you were faced with that situation, and then intentionally making the decision to act differently when you're faced with it again. I think that is that progression that we see in personal development and personal growth, you know?
Yeah. So now my question for you is, bro, like, what was some of, like, for you in the past, you know, in the past year and a half, that's with COVID switched everything. What have you felt like has been your greatest challenge, and how have you conquered it?
That is a great question. My greatest challenge in the last year and a half has been truly identifying who I am and carving my life to match that. So with the pandemic, we spent a lot more time by ourselves. We were faced with a big challenge. I mean, going back, this kind of goes right back to challenges. We were faced with a challenge that we didn't know how we were going to react until we were faced with that challenge. There were people during the pandemic that excelled, and there were people who did not excel because they weren't yet built to face that challenge. And for me, it was identifying truly who I am and crafting the life that I want to live. That's been the biggest challenge for me the last year and a half. And to do that, I've implemented mentorship. I've implemented my network. I've implemented social media breaks. I've never taken this long of social media breaks. Prior to the pandemic, I took like 6 months at the beginning or leading into the pandemic, and then another 4 months right now. I'm currently in a social media hiatus right now, another 4 months. So I implemented that to get back to some of my mental health and get back to some of my listening to my own inner thoughts and eliminating a lot of like the external distractions of the world.
Right.
So those are some of the things that I've implemented in the last year and a half to help with honing in on who I am and carving out the life that I want to live.
That's good. How old are you? 27 or 26?
26.
26.
Yep.
Okay. So
26.
man, and like so, and of course, typically this time, right, is where men, or well, scientifically, men tend to really start maturing, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm 22. I don't know anything. I clearly, I will always say it every time. I don't know anything. I'm a student,
Bro.
and like
Yes.
I've never have like I always do myself. Oh, okay. I would never say I've never, because never say never in Southern
Never say never, right?
but it's like, but it's in the sense of, okay, if you like always having the heart posture of, I don't know. Because I know, but typically in a world where everybody wants to
Yes.
know or wants to act like they know, with cancel culture and anything like that, it's typically like, if you're saying you don't know, people take that as a vulnerability, like, oh man, I'm gonna get
Yes.
exposed. But it's beautiful
Yes.
to don't know anything. Because I'm over here, if I'm I'm 22, graduated college, that I know everything, bro. That's when life really humbles you.
Hits you right in the, yes, bro. Bro, some of the smartest people and some of the most successful people in my life ask the most questions. And I do that too in terms of like work and things like that. I put my ego to the side and I ask those questions and come from a point of being a learner, right? I put that in my LinkedIn bio. I'm a continuous learner, right? And I put that in my resume and things like that because I think it's so important to humble yourself and understand you don't know as much as you think you know. Some of the greatest philosophers and stoics that we have in history fundamentally understood that. They were always asking questions and they were always coming from a point of, I am a student. And those became some of the most successful people in history. So it is on us to continue to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I can definitely say acting as if I don't know everything has actually put me in a much better position in my life, because then people are willing to share. That's another thing. People love talking.
Bro.
People love sharing what they know. People love talking. People love sharing what they know. So the more questions you ask, the more information actually comes into your life. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, bro. Yes. Like it's a miracle. Like Prince Donnell put on his Instagram page, just be the dumbest one in the room. That one that always, like, or act the dumbest. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, act the dumbest, but just like we hate to feel stupid, but you gotta feel stupid sometimes. You have to feel stupid sometimes. If you're always running from feeling stupid, you're never gonna get that piece of that information that you need. You know what I'm saying? Because you really are missing something. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and just literally embrace. There's a book called Embrace the Suck. Pause. But there's a book that talks about literally embracing those uncomfortable moments. And when you actually learn to like embrace those uncomfortable moments, it becomes kind of a game. And that's a game you're gonna win. You know what I'm saying? Or a game that's gonna make you better after you win.
Right. Like life is a video game, as Ye says. I mean, I'm a huge Ye fan. I'm gonna say like if I get
we gotta talk about the interview too. I don't know how long we're gonna go today, but we definitely should talk.
No. I want to segue to that video. Like I'm a huge Ye fan in the sense of his desire to learn, bro. Like I remember listening to an interview back like when he got nominated for College Dropout, and he said that his greatest gift is just his willingness to learn. He says, I know I'm not the best rapper. I know I'm not the best producer. But what nobody can ever can beat me at is the fact that I just love learning. And I'm always going, I don't care if somebody says I look stupid or crazy or whatever. It's just my process, and you're going to take me for who I am. And of course, he's going to improve, whatever. And obviously, we've seen where it has led him at. Just having that humility to, again, receive mentorship, to be a mentor, because you haven't learned anything if you don't even give it back to the next generation. You can't be selfish with the information that you have. You can't be selfish with the codes, because the more time that as we continue to be more selfish with the codes, nothing gets better. Because at the end of the day, everybody just wants to better, whether it's themselves, their family, and just the environment around them. Like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. First is myself, then it's my family, then after that, then I can now start to better the world, because I have the means, the resources, and everything I can do. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. And I think that people think that there's some people that think that by sharing those codes is actually taken away from them, but it's not. It's literally the complete opposite. The more you put out, the more comes back to you, the more comes back in, So by putting out information, like I put out this investment podcast, right? And I'm not a professional investor. I don't make all this money from investing. I've done well, I've done good, but I don't know everything. But I put out what I do know, and then more information came back. I literally talked about the things that I learned, and then more information came back to me. Had I not expressed or put out that information or those tools, then I would not have received more tools. So in being ourselves, and we're all specifically good or put on this earth to do something. And I genuinely believe that. Everyone has a specific set of skills or a specific talent that they're meant to share with the world. And in sharing with the world, so much more comes back to you. And I think it is our responsibility. And I think that's one of your questions about legacy. I think leaving a legacy is putting our specific skills and talents into the world.
Right.
I definitely think that.
Yeah. Yes. Like, I mean, and then of course, that's scripture, us being men of faith. That scripture, that's the story of the 3 talents, right? Like the 3 guys and all that stuff. But it's a shame. So like, what do you tell somebody? Obviously you love sharing advice. What do you tell somebody that comes up to you and says, bro, like, what if I'm scared to share? What if nobody likes it? What if nobody listens? Right? What do you tell someone? I bet you got that question before.
So the thing I struggle with, and I struggle with this, is judgment. And that's the thing that I feel like people that would ask that question probably struggle with as well. They're afraid of being judged about their content. They're afraid of being judged about their thoughts, so they don't put it out. And for me, there's never going to be a point of perfection, right? So waiting till it gets to a point where you feel it's perfect and it's unjudgeable, that'll never come. There'll always be 4 people that love it, 4 people that hate it, and 2 people that are indifferent, right? So that math always works out the same way every single time. So you're actually limiting or hurting yourself by not putting that information out, not putting that talent out or in the forefront, because again, that information and that support will not come back to you. So that's what I would tell somebody like that, is there's never going to be a point of perfection. There's never going to be a perfect time to put anything out. There's just going to be you hurting yourself. And everybody doesn't have to put everything out. Everything isn't for the world. But if that's something that you're struggling with and it's actually taken away from the energy of your day, you need to just put it out, because it's going to be so much more beneficial for you once you get that off your shoulder. And then you'll find out, whoa, I do have a little sector of people over here that do care about what I'm talking about, or have gone through the exact same experiences. And now you've built confidence and you've built an ability to network and grow. And that's what life is about, literally, is that confidence, growth, and that network. You know?
Yeah, that's so good. That is so good. It's funny. Yes, that's so good, because I was watching this AI video yesterday at the Revolt Summit. He says, man, you can have 1 billion people that love you, and you have 1 billion people that hate you. The most important thing is just to really the only opinions that matter is your opinion of yourself and then the opinion of those who really care for you.
Sorry,
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, my bad. I just got a notification. Let me turn off my notifications here. Just move the whole screen to the side. All right, I'm back.
Yeah, so like AI was saying, you have 1 billion people that will love you, and you have a billion people that hate you, and you got some that don't care. Like you saying that it's so, and the moment that, so true. The moment that you start putting stuff out, man, like it's freeing. Because like,
Dog.
bro, like imagine, like, bro, because dude, like, bro, like, even if it fails or
See,
even if it doesn't pop,
yeah.
people
That's what
watching.
bro, that's what I want to talk to you about, because you are so consistent and so good at doing that. And I am the one, you asked me the question that as if somebody would ask me that, but I'm asking you that because I struggle with putting out enough content or putting out, because I try to get to this point of perfection. You know what I'm saying? And I know the answer, and I just told you the answer, but I still struggle with it. How have you overcome that judgment barrier or that perfectionist barrier and just continue to put content out and continue to share your information?
The podcast, this is the podcaster and us. You know, we both love asking questions.
Yeah.
And I love this. I love this.
Yeah.
Man, it's come with a lot of, I get emotional. I really do get emotional with this. Thank you. I actually, so here a backstory. I just picked up Will Smith's memoir, Will. And of course, you know, I'm watching his stuff, you know, like Will Smith is somebody like how you said that, how you never felt like you fit in, right? You know, okay, you typically tended to like more of the white things or the quote unquote white things, right? And so it was a sentiment. I share that same exact sentiment and feeling. So one, Donald Glover, Will Smith, Tyler the Creator, you and I would like to think Pharrell, these people, we fit the archetype of the non-traditional Black person, like that's portrayed in media. We're not thugs, whatever. We're intellectual. We love things. We love arts. We might have interactions or have people around us that come from that, right? And so one of the things that I realized when I was coming up, like, you know, whether in middle school or in high school, was I felt, and I'm very honest. I like being brutally honest about this because I think it can help free somebody. My testimony is I was too busy trying to be somebody else. The reason why, like, I came to this revelation today. Well, shout out therapy, shout out God. But like, one of the things was, I remember I was told I wasn't white enough, I wasn't Black enough. I remember I was too white, and then I remember, like, you know, I went through a series of rejection or how my relationship with rejection, rejection is a redirection. It was, I was rejected and it's me. That was my relationship, just due to how I was growing up and anything like that. So so I thought the solution was to be so Stephen Bartlett, an author and entrepreneur, whose sentiment, he said this was to be a happy, sexy millionaire. So by finding fulfillment, whatever, like, hey, I'm going to write down the goals. I'm going to be a millionaire by this age. I'm going to do this. I'm going to work out, and I'm going to transform. No, like straight up. Yeah. So like my personal development came from trying to transform and try to be somebody that I wasn't, right? And then it wasn't until my freshman year, you know, after I crossed and everything like that, you know, people like there was some kind of this expectation.
They started knowing you.
Like that. I mean, like, yeah, like, well, I kind of had that knowing when I became student body president. No, still like the vice president at Baylor, like my freshman year. And I think it was
not even know that.
Yeah. Like I was like my freshman year coming in, vice president of the freshman class. And, you know, like I remember I beat this really good guy, Preston Rutherford. But I mean, of course, he was white. Like I was a Black kid. You know, people knew me from Lion Camp and whatever. And so it goes on to say that I was too busy performing, and I didn't like that. And I'm like, bro, I don't want to perform for the rest of my life. Yes, I studied theater. Yes, I grew up. Like, you know, I love acting and moving. Like, I'm tired of performing. And so being tired of performing, it's like, of course, everybody would like to think that they're genuine and authentic. And to some people, you are. And like I had this self-righteousness and this piousness, thinking like, oh, I don't drink, or oh, I don't have sex, or oh, I don't this. I like to keep it authentic on my podcast.
Let's do it.
And so,
in the barbershop.
Yo, bro, we chopping it up, right? And so it's like I thought that. And I'm like, yeah. Oh, and not this. But it wasn't until like I fell and I had a situation where I became the villain in somebody else's story. And it
Mm,
made me have to take a look into myself. And I
mm.
said, man, I never, and with the gifting that I have, with the gift of gab, with the gift of encouraging people, I misused my gift. I abused my gift, and I
Wow.
caused pain and I caused hurt. And it was like, you know what? I'm not perfect. I'm progressing, but I never want to do that to anybody ever again. And I'm thank God for forgiveness and for the grace of this individual and the people that were in the situation, and for the
Mhm.
grace of me, because honestly, man, I literally should not be sitting here or enjoying the fruits of the labor, right?
Wow.
Of the things that have come.
Wow.
And it's like, damn. But I realized that, because of the second chances and because this individual said that, you know what, I know it was never your intention. And I know you deep down, you have a really good heart. But she told
Mhm.
me, yo, stop trying to be somebody that you're not, because who you really are is such a beautiful person.
And it's enough.
It's
It's
enough.
it's enough.
Right.
It's
And
enough.
so realizing, yo, I am enough. I'm more than enough. And then retraining my brain and rewiring, like, from all the things that I've, like, was that it made me feel free. And
Wow.
also, I mean, I had a DMT experience like Joe Rogan with ayahuasca, and that really helped. I'm not gonna lie, like
Uh,
crazy, crazy. But
Man, that's completely out of my look. Y'all, you and Joe, y'all got it, bro. That's
bro,
completely out of
see,
my
I
realm
see.
of
I don't drink, I
control.
don't do drugs, but DMT, bro, like
It's
that, the
natural.
ayahuasca experience, it's a spiritual awakening, like,
So
for
you
real. Like,
actually did.
I did.
Everyone who's done it, like we both listen to the same content. I'm sure a lot of it, but from Joe Rogan to a guy named Andrew Schultz who
Yes,
interviews people who have talked about it. I think what's his name, Neil Brennan has done it as
Neil,
well.
Darren, Jared, Gerard
Um,
Adams,
that-
all of them, like
yep,
the big, like big,
the
bro.
big they've all done it, and they all have the same kind of description of what it's like, and it's like that's crazy.
It's
I
it's
mean, I
it's
believe it. You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
unbelievable.
bro. Like, it just seeing that mirror, actually seeing, like, everybody would like to think they're an empathetic person, and I'm getting to go into my answer, but, like, they would like to think be an empathetic person, but it isn't until that you are actually, seeing somebody
Face
from
with
that point of view, like being like you seeing yourself. And
yourself.
also, like, bro, it's so freaky. And like seeing family members or seeing people, it's like, whoa. I put my mom on, she did it. My dad did it, trying to help my auntie do it. And,
Wow.
like, it's such a crazy thing. And I really do recommend everybody to do it at least once in their life, like, to do it
Wow.
once. Because it changed. And after that, and it made me realize, like, I'm enough. I'm more than enough. And I'm like, yo, like, I don't know anything, and I'm always a student, but
Mm-hmm.
like, from just having that, you know, I was having a conversation with my really great friend Meg Peck last week, when I was out in Philly, and she said, "Man, Tanaka, it was something about." She's like, "I wasn't surprised by any of the stuff that is happening to you, but like, it was after that, that monumental moment, like the fall of your sophomore year, and that's when I did the ayahuasca, in like, is when you the shift happened,
Shifted.
like, the shifted, and the shifting was." I talk a lot. I love to talk. And so the shifting
You're a
was,
podcaster. You're a
yeah,
podcaster for
yeah, yeah.
sure.
And I mean, like, yeah, like, but yeah, yeah. But it was like this shifting of, okay, cool. Like, I like to speak. I'm a believer of the power of words. I'm a believer, like, of speaking things, writing down, manifesting, and putting things to existence and whatever, right?
Mhm.
But sometimes, like, maybe I talk too big for my britches. But then what this podcast and everything has taught me is the power of listening, the power of empathy, and the power of just really just, like, saying, like, hey, being consistent and diligent, and you don't have to talk. You don't have to perform to let things speak for itself. It's in that moment where you
Yeah,
allow the work and you allow the things that you enjoy and being an individual of who you
dog.
really are, right? That's when it
That's
happens.
that's what that is one of the major things also that I'm trying to implement is that the private victories before public victories. And that's in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That book is one of my favorite books, and in that book it talks about private victories before the public victories, right? It's privately proving those things to yourself, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what helps build that confidence as well, is those private, when you prove to yourself you told yourself you're going to do something, and then you did it, and then you let the work speak for itself. That's where that confidence is truly built. You know what I'm saying? And kind of going back
Yes.
to the original question was like the platform that you've built and putting out this content. How do you continue to find motivation to do it? You know what I'm saying?
Man, yeah, bro. Like, dude, it's a service. You realize it's bigger than you, bro. Like
Yep.
vanity metrics aside, like, like, man, I get super hyped and I get super psyched for that. I just get like, well, honestly, man, like, selfishly, I just love learning about people. But people love learning about other people too, right?
Yep.
And it's like, I never would have expected this idea of me recording with an iPhone, doing this and getting a ring light, or like, doing it like live and getting invited to all this stuff. Like, literally, this was supposed to be an alpha project, because I'm like, I think this would be a good way in order to get more people to get to the community. They kind of shut it down. Bro, they shut it down.
Wow.
I'm gonna say, like, I love like voice, but they shut it down
Yeah.
because they're like, whatever. And I'm like, no, I really felt like it was like really serious, because it's just like, and Gary V, there's a power in audio. I'm like, all right, cool, audio. I like, bro.
Long form media too is
long form media.
Like this podcasting thing, I'm sure we started I started watching podcasts. I first of all stopped watching TV in college, right? My sophomore year, I completely no TV, straight to YouTube. So that's actually what transitioned me into personal development, was literally YouTube. I follow this guy named Christian Guzman. He lives in Houston, Texas. Bro, yes. Christian Guzman lives in Houston, Texas. He started his gym. He went to TCU, started his gym, Alpha League, when we were in college, basically around the same time I was in college, just before that. Anyway, but him putting out that content and me being able to soak it up put me into working out. It put me into actually caring about how I was skinny my whole life, bro. My whole life. I'm still skinny, but I'm at a completely different level than I was before. And it was that spark from Christian's videos that changed my life forever. Bro. The things that I learned, and again, some of these things seem so cliche and it might sound silly to some people, but it just takes a spark to change people's lives. You know what I'm saying? And that's why putting out the content that you put out, that I put out, is so important. And for people who feel nervous about putting things out, why it's so important, because you have that spark that's going to change somebody's life. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, literally. And like, it's intrinsic, just like Russ. It's intrinsic. I love putting out music. I just love doing this. I genuinely, I feel like it's, well, honestly, the calling is like, because of course, after hearing success and doing all these things, right? Like the pursuit of success can be a twofold, a double-edged sword. Like, it's cool, but you got to make sure that, most of it is kind of empty. And honestly, most of this stuff is made up. But really, and so like mentally, how it is, like, our purpose is to love. And of course, us being men of faith, Christians, like, is to share the gospel. And remember, sharing the gospel is not you literally like saying, okay, I got a Bible, being a Bible thumper, and like Taylor. It's sharing the gospel is like you, again, sharing your gift to the world and being able to be a good steward of what you've been given, right? And so, like, bro, like, I can't even express, like, I got people hitting me up with DMs saying like, yo, I post, you private, I think you follow my private Instagram, whether it's messages like, yo, thank you, like, bro, it was so good seeing you. I love, like, oh, your content inspires me. Oh, like I love this, and it's like,
and it's people that you don't think are watching, are paying attention. Yes, bro. Me and my friends talk about this all the time, bro. All the time. Like how, like, I'm blessed to have like some of my best friends from college living with me in Austin, and like the things they're doing, Cody, O'Neal, Monty, like the things that they're doing push me to be even better. And like just that community I'm like so blessed with. But I have people that tell us like, bro, when I see y'all moving like that, I'm like, damn, I'm trying to find that in my city, or I'm trying to find that where I'm at. And I never think people are paying attention. I never even thought about that or looked at it like that. I'm thinking, man, these are my friends. He just got a job at Apple. I gotta, this is just what we do. And I gotta go excel at Samsung. Right now, I'm in the middle of a career transition to my next company. and it just seems normal to me. But by
It's
putting
not.
out that content or information, even if it's stories, I realize it's not. Like you just said, it's really not. But
It's not.
I wouldn't know that if we weren't sharing so much. If Cody wasn't a LinkedIn influencer like he is, we would not know how to better serve.
Yeah.
So with the questions that come back or the DMs that come in, you're able to impact someone else's life and serve that person, because that's what we're here to do, is serve.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that goes back through the thread of what we're talking about. And again, as Christian men, that is what our job is. That is what our legacy is to serve.
Bro, it's literally just to serve. Cause man, bro, I used to ego trip, bro. Cause I remember, cause of course, I had a chip on my shoulder. I'm like, man, I'm gonna show all you. I'm gonna be this pediatrics, whatever. And so I studied pre-med, and was training with running track and all this stuff. But then I realized in high school, and I remember I told my friends, "Oh, I'm gonna make it to state." I made it to state, but you know what happened? But we had a whole little parade or anything like that, to celebrate us. But what happened was after that, it made me realize that is one, people don't care.
No, oh my gosh, bro.
Nobody
Yes.
shout at Gary V, bro.
Nobody cares, bro. In the last year and a half, you asked that question earlier. That's one of the things I learned. No, like it sounds again, the most cliche things sometimes are the truest things. No one cares. So what does that mean to you? And I'll tell you what it means to me.
Man, nobody caring is one of the best things ever, because you are able, because it's just like, yo, you have the freedom to create, you have the freedom to do, bro, right? And then and then eventually, like, if you are able to build up a thing, like, and that's like, I asked the legacy question too, because I'm just like, damn, like, we all want to build a legacy and all that stuff, but what do the Stoics say? It's all going to fade away. In 2 generations, you'll be forgotten.
My guy is studied. I love that you are studied. You're studied. Bro, so you know about Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius, meditations.
Yes, bro. Ryan Holiday,
bro. Daily, I listen to Ryan. I'm on the Daily Stoic as well, but daily. But nah, that's why I know we needed to connect. I'm telling you, it's like crazy how so many things are overlapping right now. But yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yes, bro. Yes. And it's like nobody cares, and then if you have people that do care, it's awesome, it's incredible, and that's a blessing in itself. Like, every day is a gift. Like, no matter how much money you make, no matter how much all this stuff and everything that you obtain, it's like, understand that you, like, again, Deuteronomy 8, and this has been a verse I've been meditating on for like the past 2 weeks, is the fact that any of the wealth, any of the success that you encounter, it's not, it really does come from the Lord, or it comes from the source. Like, for people that are not believers, I there's no question there's a higher power. Like, I think more people have believed, like, yo, there is thing, cosmic force, universe, whatever. I see that there has been a shift in that, honestly. Not just on Instagram and Twitter, but just in the world, like, in life. I see more people acknowledging, like, you know what? There's some like, people acknowledging that there's a force greater than them, and they try to attribute it. Bro, that pandemic really, like, was a shift, right? And so you're seeing that, I'm like, yes. But again, like, being grounded in that, like, it is the Lord's strength and the duty. And so for me, it's like, yo, I wake up every day. I'm 22. I don't know anything. I'm still learning. And the fact that I get to wake up every day just means that, as Kanye says, God's not finished. It's not finished. Kobe said it's not finished until I'm gone.
It's a blessing, bro. As long as it's like, we didn't have to get to this point. And I want to talk about flaws too. Everyone has flaws. I'm not a perfect person. I'm a very flawed person. And I never want to come off as holier than thou. So I very much intentionally try not to be like that, because I feel like sometimes we get on our podcast and we talk about all this good stuff and it sounds good. And it may seem to other people like we got this all figured out, bro. I have so many issues, so many problems that I am getting into therapy for now. People are stigmatized therapy or whatever, but I never actually took the step to get out there, but I'm doing that now. Is going to go to therapy to really hone in on my issues and resolve them now, early, young, because they fester and they compound. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world.
Yes.
Positively and negatively.
And yes.
that little negative thing, and then me and my brother. So me and my brother had an argument recently, and that's what sparked this. And being full transparency, we had an argument and a situation between us that sparked this need to dig deeper and solve those little issues that we may have between us and in ourselves. And I'm almost like thanking God for that argument, because it's put me into a whole new realm of learning, and it's pushed me in a direction to get better and to learn. And that's one thing I would tell my younger self is not to let those little things fester positively or negatively, because compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, and it's undefeated. It's like a drop of water. If you took a drop of water and dropped it on a stone every day for 10 years, there's going to be a hole in that stone. One drop of water eventually is going to put a hole in that stone. And that is that compound interest. And taking it from more of the personal development, things like that, to finances. I love finances. I love talking about money. I love talking about finances as well. And compound interest applies exponentially over there as well. So there's these threads that are common throughout our lives, in our personal lives, our emotional lives, that also bleed into real life with our financial situations and our relationships. The compound effect. So taking care of those little minute things early and as soon as possible, because we're all flawed. I'm very flawed, you know, but actually taking the step to try to learn and get better, I think is so important. And that's something I would tell my younger self, for sure.
That's amazing. And I just want to say, bro, thank you so much for that transparency and for your vulnerability and honesty, bro. Like like Brene Brown says, vulnerability is a superpower, bro. Vulnerability is a superpower, and it's in the fact that, you didn't have to share that, but like, especially, being mental health. And I'm very, very, I'm a big advocate of, if you first gen, get therapy. I don't care what you say. Everybody needs to get it. Ass in there. I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
Bro, we went through some different. I'm telling you, our parents went through different things. We went through. Our upbringing is a little different.
It is different.
Growing up in elementary school, coming from somewhere else, your parents are acting differently, talking differently. You grow up around, you're growing up around people that are Americans or live here. It's a little different.
It's a little
different, man.
Like, dude, like it should not have been something, right? But for me, bro, it was this thing where I remember in 6th grade, this boy, he said, man, you talk with an accent. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm from America. I was born here. It's like, oh, you talk to an accent, or you're African, right? Oh, that's how you speak. But bro, like, you think it's funny, but really, it's like, hold up. And he's like, oh man, I don't like my identity. Maybe I should search for myself, or maybe, bro, it's still small things, and it really does.
But it matters. It matters, and it affects you. It's so small because you can remember. Think about how you can remember that right now.
Yes.
You'll never forget that for the rest of your life.
No.
In that moment, it was like a 15-second thing that you are now remembering for the rest of your life, bro.
For the rest of your life.
For me, it was weird. It was even weirder because we are Guyanese, and it's such a small country in South America. They didn't know what the fuck. I did not mean to curse. My bad. They didn't know what we were, bro. They thought I was African. I'm like, I'm not even African. Like, what are y'all talking about? I almost felt like I was born here too. Like, what are y'all talking about? But then they'll hear my parents. The way my parents talk is completely different from the way I talk. They have way more accent than I have. And even then, I was confused. And maybe it brought a lot of confusion into my life, because I'm like, I live over here on the east side of Atlanta. Y'all over here talking like this. I go home and swap them bottle, got on bread, put the thing on top of the table, all this other stuff. I'm like, and then I would go to the white schools, and I'm the only black kid in 5th grade. So like, I literally got the full spectrum of all those relationships. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I think it's made me a stronger person, because you said it earlier, the gift of gab. You have the gift of gab. And I feel like I also possess some of the gift of gab.
Yes, no, you do.
Ability to talk to anyone, any race, any generation, with the same level of enthusiasm and almost intellect. I think is something that helps me professionally and helps me in my relationships in life, my mentorship and etc. But There is a way to cultivate that. And the way to cultivate that is putting your neck out there, stepping out and just talking to people, saying hi on the airplane, just talking to the person next to you, or at the post office, whoever goes to the post office. I don't know. If you go to the post office, just talk to the person that's in line with you. You know what I'm saying? And not being afraid to feel stupid or be ignored, you know?
Yeah.
And but yeah, I
bro,
like
that is so good. Like man, like just even saying, you know, rather than making sure, even in the transactional moments where you go into a store or you trying to buy something, rather than, you know how most people, like, bro, like I noticed this, like I think I noticed it very young. Most of the time when people, or like even growing up in the house, like, hey, good morning, how are you? I'm good. Man, get this shit out of here, bro. No. Like, no, I'm this is my podcast. I don't care. No, get out of here. Like, you think you're not good. You're a whole human being having a human experience. Like,
you're not good. And it's okay to not be good.
Just saying, like, just even saying, hey, you know, like, you donut today, this morning, it's okay to not be good. But even going to get the donuts, I went to go to the donut shop to get some donuts for my coach. And I'm like, man, you know, I came over here. He's like, hello, I'm good. How are you? And I'm like, how are you doing? I just like, how are you doing, man? Like, how is your day? She's like, oh, you know, it's really good, really slow. It's like, oh my gosh, you're grateful. Like, your shop is really nice. I really like the way, and like, I thank you so much for your service. And you know, like, bro, just those small little moments like that, complimenting somebody's shoes or anything like that, bro.
Yes.
Again, intentionality, bro. Intentionality doesn't have to be like this. Oh, intense. It's really just a drop.
It's the little things. And then not even looking for a like feedback, or not say feedback, but not looking
a return.
For
you just doing it out of no expectation.
Yes, bro. But I can't tell you how many times something as little as that has gotten you to the front of the line, or has gotten you moved up in the queue, because that person felt a little better of a connection. Instead of how they were going to treat you as just a regular patron or a regular person, they went a little bit extra to put the extra scoop. There's this guy that serves at the restaurant or breakfast every day, but now he be giving me the extra. He be putting more bacon on the side. And I be like, yeah, but it's because I cultivated that relationship. I didn't ask him for this extra bacon. And then I go up to the counter, talking about, that is not 3 strips of bacon. That's 5. I didn't ask for 3 strips. I mean, I didn't ask for 5 strips. He gave me 5. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna hate on my blood. You're not about to block my blessings, but literally, it's those little things, just putting your neck out there and just compliment. And it's not, you don't have to be fake. You don't have to be fake about it. It's not like saying you like somebody's hat and you really hate the hat. Just point out that one thing you do like, and you are genuine about it, and it will come back to you. It's the energy you put out, it'll come back to you.
Hey, bro,
and that person is gonna go out of their way to help you out. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, help you out for anything, man. And
yes, dog.
And like, bro, it's like, for me, I always, man, bro, sometimes I be mad at myself for posting so many long stories, but then at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like, if you watch it, cool. Like, bro, I've noticed, like, my private Instagram, like, everybody's been like, there's been a lot, like, a wave of people that have unfollowed me. I'm like, perfect. Y'all didn't have to be there.
That's fine.
That's fine, because like, I know the people that do, or like, you know, like, just the appreciation. Like, I'm always like, just like Drink Champs, bro. I want people on this podcast to to be loved, heard, seen, have authentic conversation. Like, I remember I sat down with I chopped it up with the mayor of Waco when she was on her campaign trail. I'm like, yo, I would love to have you on my, like, I would love to have you on my podcast. I'm like, you know, your friends, you worked at Baylor, whatever. Like, I would like to serve you. And at the end of it, she's like, damn, Tanaka, we best friends. And I'm like, damn, yes. Yeah. Like, you know, because again, like, I said on my story, I move off relationship. I really do, like, the majority, like, where I am today is because of the relationships, bro. Like, I can't even tell you. I know I'm trying hard. Most don't work. I'm trying to let people know, like, yo, I don't know anything. Most things don't work when I'm trying hard. But when I'm just in the natural flow, and not just because of
most things don't work. Dude, when you actually trying, right? Yep.
When you actually try, they don't work. Like, I don't know.
It's so counterintuitive. Yeah. That's funny.
Like, man, like, I was having a conversation with my boy Albert, and I'm like, Albert, bro, man, I like this girl. I don't know. I don't want to try. I'm scared. He's like, bro, don't try. Everything will work out. And I'm like, all right, bet.
Yes, bro. He's like,
When you
don't try
try, you
everything.
freeze up. You're like,
You be trying too hard, bro. That's a fact. That is such a fact. Because you realize, like, some people, you be like, how did that even? He don't be trying, or that person didn't try and they got this thing. I'm like, man, I gotta try a little less hard. Like, bro, it's a fact. Albert is right. Your boy Albert, your boy Bert is right, bro. No cap. That is hilarious.
Oh, bro. Honestly,
don't try, it will work.
This is gonna be. There's gonna be 2 clips for this on Instagram. It's gonna be the one where we talk about compound interest or whatever, and then this one. Like,
let's do it. I love it. I love it. That's your multimedia brain. That's your multimedia brain working already, bro. There it is, bro. I wanted to say, bro, for what you just said, bro, about relationships, I wanted to say something that Kanye said in that Drink Champs interview. He said about being homeless. I thought that was so powerful when he was like, I want to get to a point where I've done so much good that I don't need a home. Everyone feels comfortable. Oh, you need underwear for the month? I got you, dog. You looked out for me in the past. I got you. Oh, you need to stay. I'm in San Francisco for the weekend. Oh, you need to stay at my house. Dog, I got you. To the point where everything is like emotional, like it's transactions based off of equity transactions. It's all equity transactions. I thought that was so dope. He was talking about how he was homeless, and because of his relationships, he's able to live as if he has everything. You know what I'm saying? And he's a different story because he's a billionaire. But I do believe that we could all get to that same point in terms of you being so good and helping so many people that you're able to live a different life. You're able to live a
very nomadic, like
a nomadic life,
bro.
Yeah.
No, like, honestly. And when he said that, it hit. He said, "A house, a suitcase, right? His house is a suitcase." Me personally, like, my true life, like like that true dream life. I said it last night. Is freaking Tom Anderson, MySpace founder. Bro, he sold MySpace, and now he travels around the world and takes photos. Right? And so like in like driving cars. I'm a car guy. Like, see, I'm a car guy. Well, I'm a car guy, not like I'm a car guy in the terms of I don't know the details, but I love driving fast cars and I have appreciation for cars. Like, I have a Mustang, and like, you know,
wrong with that.
like,
you got a Mustang now?
Yeah, I have a Mustang 06.
You know I got a Mustang?
Yeah, I know you got a Mustang.
Okay,
that's why I'm like, I fuck with you, bro.
Yeah, let's go.
But it's in the sense of this, like, you know, my middle school, no, my high school cross country coach said that to me. She's like, Tanaka, you have a gift of cultivating relationships, because most of the time, you know, when most people leave from high school or college or whatever, they're like, I mean, I don't want to go back and talk to that people. I mean, like, now I'm not going to say like, oh, I was that. There was times where like I didn't want to go back to my high school because I said, no, I'm done with that. That brought a lot of pain and a lot of suffering to my heart. Wow. But it's so funny how my high school actually invited me to come back last year before the pandemic, like January 2020. Yeah, before the pandemic and everything just went to boo. They invited me back to give a speech whenever they do the IB Awards. I said I knew I was going to come back to school, and I was going to go speak in my high school. But I thought it was going to happen when I was getting a check. Right?
You said what? Signing a check?
I thought I was going to come back and come to the specific events when I was rich and signing a check. And I said that in the speech. I didn't expect it to happen so early. But the
timeline,
bro, your timeline is different. God's timeline is way different from your timeline.
From your timeline, yes.
Bro, but then when that happened, bro, like the reason how that even came to occur was because it was my high school guidance like college counselor, who I built, and I still to this day have the best such an amazing relationship with. And she said, "Yo, T, would you mind speaking?" She said, "I don't want to." She's like, "Nah, I know, but you really have some great stuff to say, And in a turn, it came to find out that I was the youngest alumni to come back and
to come back and speak. At what,
Like
21, 20?
yeah, it was 20. I was 21. I was 21 at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 21. And like I was like, hold on, no, 22. It was when was the pandemic? When did the pandemic happen? 2019 or 2020? 2020.
2020.
Bro, hold on. So 2020, I turned
you were 20.
21. No. I was born in 99. So it happened right before my birthday. So 2020. So yeah, at night, 20 turning 21. Whoa.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so like coming back, I'm like, oh wow. Okay. And in fact, my high school, track coach or whatever said you have a gift of just cultivating relationships, and you just have some sort of way that people got you. Like you're still like till this day, you still come visit to my house. Bro, I got people that told me, yo, if you need anywhere to space, whenever you're in the area, come, I got you. You have a space to stay. Like I love you. I want you here. And when Kanye said that, bro, and he said, man, my home and my house is my smallest suitcase because right now I'm sleeping on my mom's couch. I want to let everybody know I'm still at home. I've graduated college. I'm still figuring things out, stacking and saving. I'm sleeping on my mom's couch. Y'all see this cool stuff.
Good.
But you say all this stuff, but I'm saying I'm still sleeping on my mom's couch.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Because most people
think
that
bread.
Because most people are thinking, oh man, like you're doing all this stuff. You're amazing. Like you do all this. And like, no. Don't get it twisted. No. I'm letting you know I'm still sleeping on my mom's couch.
That transparency is dope.
More
people need to do that because there's nothing wrong with that. You're 22. We think we have to have all this shit figured out. You think you got to have a house, a car. Bro, I'm out here living in the world, and I'm just realizing more and more that you don't have to have it all figured out. No one has it all figured out.
No one.
My mentor don't have it all figured out, and he is successful in his own right and a man of God. He took me to the church. He still has his own issues, and he doesn't have it all figured out all the time. And he's 60-something years, 50-something years old. You know what I'm saying? So there's never a point of having it all figured out, and it's okay. Everybody has a different timeline because you're so much further ahead than a lot of people in terms of, I don't even like to say that. You're exactly where you should be, and everyone else is where they should be.
It should be.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. No one is any further ahead than anybody else. Everyone's right perfectly on their timeline, and I put that on LinkedIn. I put that on LinkedIn, I think last month or something like that. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Just keep going, keep moving forward, and you'll get to whatever it is that you're trying to get to. And you don't know when you're going to get there. You think you're going to go back to speak at that school in
when I was
5 years, 10 years with a $250,000 check, big ass check with the holding it up like this. No, you're about to come up here and talk about this tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Tomorrow.
Different timeline is, you know what I'm saying? We can't put too much stock into that, into our timelines.
Bro, so man, so right. We cannot put too much stock, and it's just so amazing. Like, after that speech, the parents came up to me because I would say like I wasn't academically the strongest. Like me finishing with a I finished with a 3.7 GPA in high school, right? And at the very end, that was supposed to be, National Honor Society. I didn't get it, and I didn't want to really even want to fight for like, hey, I got it. Like, can I have it? Because everybody was super competitive. But when I shared that, all that stories, I'm like, hey, you don't have to have it figured out. No matter the failures, you're gonna get there. You're gonna do whatever. Like, trust me. Like, trust and believe. Like, I'm here today. Like, if it wasn't for the challenges, and sometimes like for whether you're IB student that you got all the grades, you got the accolades, amazing. If not, it doesn't matter. Your time is coming. And so many parents came up to me like crying, like some parent. Remember this one lady, she was crying. She's like, "Thank you so much. My son was discouraged. Like, thank you so much for your speech." Kids were like, "Yo, bro, that was so good." And honestly, I'm just like, "Yo, bro, I'm just honestly saying things that I would like to hear my younger self hear." Because this it wasn't. Thanks. These are the things that I wasn't being fed. So I want to make sure that each and every time that I'm going somewhere, whether I'm doing something, whether I'm posting a post or doing the things that I like, want to see, is like. These are all the things that I would like, because I always think about, man, like, like at the end of the day, what everybody really is trying to do, the world tries to take us away, but we're at our purest, and this is something that Ye would say. I think he said in this in an interview. As a child, it's when we start getting older and start,
Bro.
you know, allowing societal thought to really get into our mind and really think like we have to do this and do that, where we move away from who we are. Everything should play and learning and being fascinated.
I don't know where Ye did not say that, but he would say that. But it did come from somewhere, and I feel like we listened or read the same thing, because I definitely heard that recently about that childhood, that child in us that just gets warped and defeated and changed and beat up and morphed into, like you said, trying to be somebody else and expectations and all this stuff, versus that natural inclination to learn, to explore, that we need to get back to. We should get back to as humans.
Oh no, it was
You know
Justin Khan. Everybody's just trying to be a child again. Everybody's just trying to like heal their bro. It's all inner child wounds, bro. No cap, bro. And like go back to being a child, bro. Go back to seeing the purity of the baby. Like the baby's just like, wow, man, and I'm so blessed to have gone to Pine Cove, worked with kids. I love kids. That's what made me even want to be a pediatrician at one point in time. But then it's just like, man, like it's being with kids, or even having my younger cousins and still playing video games, still playing ninjas, and each and every time that like trying to protect the inner child, because the inner child is where all our creativity, all our ingenuity, any form of just fascination and continuous learning really is. And I think the main message that I want people to know, I'm sorry, bro, I'm talking is keep your inner child, keep your inner child alive and continue to fight for that. Fight for 15 minutes for that. In just go enjoy skate. Do what you enjoy, bro. What your inner child loves.
Facts. We got to go back to that, man. I don't even know what to say, bro. It's powerful. That is so powerful. Moving forward, like in my life, bro, it's just to tap into that, not be afraid to jump out, to leap. I have this goal of being a race car driver. I want to be a professional race car driver. And that was my childhood. That's the first thing I ever wanted to be in my life. That was my childhood dream. And that was my childhood goal. I didn't want to be an astronaut. I didn't know what an engineer was. I wanted to be a mechanic. I wanted to just fix cars, and I wanted to be a race car driver. That's it. And now I'm going back to that. It eluded me. It came back into my life. I started doing autocross. I started building cars in college. It got away from me. I got to focus on work. I got to focus on doing this. I got to go make this money. Then it came back to me. I went go-karting, and I found out, man, I'm kind of nice with this. You know what I'm saying? I'm really literally giddy inside when I do this. I love this. So now I'm going back to back. I'm paying for lap time, I've gotten so much better. I'm in a 99 percentile at the F1 track here in Austin, the only one in the country, the F1 track. And then there's a karting track attached to it, and I'm 99 percentile. So I'm like, why was I ignoring this whole time? Imagine where I would have been if I just kept to the dream and kept chasing that dream. So now I'm not going to let it go. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to let that childhood dream go, because whatever that looks like for you, whatever it looks like for somebody else, that's what we have. You know, that is what makes us who we are. That's what makes those individual talents and individual contributions that we can give to the world. So it is our job to chase that childhood dream, chase that childhood those childhood feelings, and jump out and just do new and different things and share it with the world. You know what I'm saying? So going forward, that's one of my main goals in life, is just to chase, pursue, and share.
Yeah, bro. That, man, you know what it sounds like? David Metzler. And you know, I be repeating this every day after I said this. Like David Metzler is an entrepreneur or whatever. And what he said was this: what we all want to do is consistently and persistently pursuing our potential.
Yeah,
that's it. To like, the dream is to consistently and persistently pursue our potential. And bro, and I just want to come up. I just want to say out here, bro, on live, bro, I proclaim and I'm praying, and I am so inspired, and I'm so grateful that you shared, you know, your childhood dream, bro. Like. And I realized that a childhood dream, it doesn't have to make you money or something like that. It could just be, it's like the hobbies.
And it can be very expensive too.
It could be expensive. It could be expensive. It could be not be expensive. It's whatever it is. And I'm so grateful that, you know, bro, I walk in agreement with you, and can't wait to support you, bro. I mean, I've always been supporting you anyway, but like, man, this is so
man.
good, bro.
This was awesome.
This is so good. I love this.
I could do this all day, bro. If I could find somebody to just edit everything, I would do this all day. You know how Joe Rogan got Jamie sitting over there in the corner? I'll be watching Joe Budden podcast. Joe Budden got a whole room of Savons and the young boys back there editing and making all the clips. If I could just come sit down, talk, and then somebody just put everything out, I would do this every day, all day.
All day. Like all day, bro. And you know what? I think to go back to your that question of like what keeps you motivated, the one thing that really touched me the most, bro, was my homegirl Alina. She texted me saying, "Yo, bro, I just found out that my listened to your podcast when they were in the hiring process for me, and they helped me get a better picture of who I was." Wow. And I'm like, for real?
Wow. Yes.
And I'm like, wow, I never expected that.
Imagine that, man.
Like, it's so crazy. And she said, and I'm like, well, thank you for thank you for taking your time, like your most valuable resource, like an hour of your time just to chop it up, and for us just to, you know, just to have like Campus Cuts talk about culture, society, your opinion, your ideas, your thoughts, what you want us to share. And she said, thank you for staying true to your calling. Bro, this is like,
it's a value add. It's a value add both ways.
I'm not even trying to look at it like that, bro. I'm just having fun, bro. Like this is like awesome. Genuinely, this photography and traveling around the world, bro. Like, this is my childhood dream. Just to talk to people, amazing. Take photos, and just to explore, bro. I've always been exploring, man. That's been my heart. Like, and it comes from me playing The Legend of Zelda, bro. I love The Legend of Zelda. I've always think, man, I just want to be Link, bro.
I used to play that on the Dreamcast. Like, yeah. At my friend's house. I never even had a Dreamcast, but I've always played on the Dreamcast. That's crazy. But
yeah, bro.
Man, I just want to say I appreciate your time. Like, I appreciate you having me on the show. What you're doing is important. It's needed. It's necessary. And these conversations and these relationships are going to carry on for the rest of our lives. So I appreciate you taking the time and the energy to be consistent and to continue to put this out and put forth the energy of making the interviews happen and making the podcast happen and actually doing the work. I can tell you're very read, you're studied, and I can appreciate that. I really, really do appreciate people who put in the time and energy to get better at their craft and not just willy-nilly go about doing it. So I really appreciate that, bro. And I appreciate you having me on today, honestly.
Bro, of course, man. And this is my last segment, Speak Life, bro. Man, you one cool nigga, bro. No cap. No, bro. Like, man, you're so dope. You're so dope. Like, you're so dope. And like, just meeting you like at homecoming, bro, and just the way that you embrace it. Oh my gosh, T. And it's like, yes, like,
yeah,
bro. Like phone calls to real life. And it's like, wow, man, like that is so humbling. Bro, dude, I'm inspired.
That was crazy. I didn't expect to see you. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Bro, nobody expected to see me. Like, people were like, what? But no, but honestly, being like, I'm inspired by your work ethic. I'm inspired by the content that you produce. I'm inspired by the way that you are continuing to share your gifts in the world and for you to design, to create a life that you want. And man, bro, like, to see another Black brother, for you to live authentically and move into that, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of your progression. I'm proud of the story and the path that God is taking you, man. No matter what, you know, this doesn't happen on accident. It happens on purpose. So thank you for taking the time out to spend time with me, for us just to be able to share, to conversate, to chop it up in the barbershop. Bro, I'm very inspired by you. I'm inspired by a lot of people, and I think people should be inspired by a lot of people. And you're one of those inspirations for me to continue to keep going. Thank you for your encouragement. You, Monty, Cody, like, I know Monty, bro. Since I was young, bro, since freshman year, bro. Charles, man, Monty and Charles have like just spoken life over me. I know people have beef with alphas, but like, they always say, "Yo, there's something different about UT.
Man.
Like we really like you. Like you're really cool. Good." And I'm like, I don't know what's.
And that's one thing too. I want to talk about that beef, that what do you call it? Yeah, that kind of on campus. It seems like this. It's so we had it, between fraternities. There's all these fake issues that when you get out of college, you realize how much it doesn't matter. We're all literally on the same team, and I work with alphas, sigmas, kappas. Some of my best friends out here, kappas, sigmas, alphas. It does not matter, and they're all successful, and we're all balling, you know what I'm saying, in our own individual ways. And that's what it's about. We're feeding off of each other. We came from a lot of the same backgrounds. We went through the same college stress, and we are literally all one in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So I look for that post-college. In college, you got this macho machismo, this back and forth. Everybody got to be better than everybody. The bravado. We're gonna fight. Who breaking who line? Who? When you get out of college, you realize none of that matters. None of it matters. You would have knocked somebody's head off and did something crazy and ruined your whole life for something like that. And you get out of college, you realize how like silly some of that stuff was. I laugh nowadays, bro. I look back and I laugh sometimes, but I would never trade that experience for the world. I would never trade it for the world, man. College, crossing, I would never trade it for the world. But we got to keep building. We got to keep growing together. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Where can the people follow you when you get back on social media?
Yes, sir. So I'm revamping my podcast, the Darren to Share podcast. You can find it on all platforms, including YouTube. I do video as well as audio. And then 1K Engineering on Instagram and then YouTube, where I'm going to be sharing my automotive content, where I plan to inspire others to kind of chase their passions, pursue their passions. And also I hope to teach people about cars in that process and just kind of share what I enjoy doing. So 1K Engineering for my automotive content, the Darren to Share podcast for my more personal development content, and then Darren 1K on Instagram for my personal page. So I really appreciate it, man. If anybody's ever out in Austin, Texas, please hit me up on any of those platforms and let's talk and let's make it happen. I appreciate you, Tanaka.
Yeah, bro. He's a really cool guy, y'all. Really cool. Like in his community project, like caffeinated. Bro. Man, no, I love that, bro. It honestly kind of reminded me of like a better WeWork where you don't have anything. You just meet up.
So let me briefly talk about Caffeinated. Please follow the Caffeinated page on Instagram. We are a networking group in Austin, Texas, where we go to different coffee shops and allow young Black brothers, young Black females, Caucasian, white, Mexican, whoever. Doesn't matter who you are. If you're motivated and you have something to work on, we go to different coffee shops all around the city to spend time encouraging that grind, encouraging getting out of the house. This came out of the pandemic where everyone was trapped. We saw this as a good opportunity to get people out of their own spaces and to actually promote growth. When you're around like-minded people, it pushes you and it motivates you to be the best person that you can be. So Caffeinated on Instagram. You can find more information there.
Yeah, man. Bro. All right, everybody. We out. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. 123. Hour and 23 minutes of my guy. Yes, sir.
Hey, that's crazy.
Hey,